Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with the Weather Report, the North Georgia edition, exclusively for you Facebook subscribers and YouTube members here on your April the 24th, 2026. It also happens to be Free Sampler Friday, so if you'd like to become part of our subscriber family or member family, this is a free opportunity for you to take a look at our daily report, which we do Monday through Friday, which is really more of a more detailed analysis of what's going on weather-wise so you can prepare, and it gives you an opportunity to help support this channel as we're trying to build this 24-hour professional weather channel for you guys. All right, let's get into today's report. Okay, we're going to talk about today's not looking bad. Got some warm weather, still some haze and some smoke working its way into parts of North Georgia. Not everybody's going to see that. Still getting some smoke reports coming in. We're going to talk about the rain chances for your Saturday. Yeah, we got some rain, not a ton of it. We'll talk about rainfall amounts, and then we'll talk about what other additional rain chances we have for next week, as well as some cooler weather coming in. Looks like below normal temperatures have been moving in here for a little while as we roll into the month of May. All right, so let's go ahead and take, as you can see, live look over there, Dalton, Brazelton, Blairsville, Dahlonega. It is looking pretty good here across North Georgia. Again, those fire bans have been expanded. I know a lot of individual counties have said, you know what? I know the governor issued it for South and Central Georgia, but we're just going to go ahead and do it as well. So let's not do any burning of anything right now until we get some rains in here to help us out in that department. Let's go ahead and take a look around as we typically do this morning to take a look at conditions, different web cameras here across North Georgia. As you can see, some pretty quiet weather there in Blairsville. Let me get that camera rolling for you. I forgot to start that one for you. But as you can see, folks getting on about getting ready to go for work and knocking out their Friday for today. Looking up at Brasstown Ball, it is 43 degrees up there. A little haze up there in the mountains right now, but looking very nice there at Brasstown Ball. Dahlonega, a beautiful sunrise. I always love that orange hue from that camera there. And Dahlonega, looking at temperature there, 51 degrees at that location right now. Heading down toward Helen, Georgia. Overview shot there, 60 degrees there. So as you can see, temperature's a little bit milder out there this morning compared to the last few mornings. UGA campus looking very nice with a lot of clear skies there as well. And heading up toward Lake Chattoog, up near Hiawassee, 53 degrees there. Delightful looking start to the day there as well. So again, looking pretty good. All right, now let's go take a look at our current temperatures out there. We got temperatures, still got a few 40s out there. Here's a 40 degrees out there in LJ. I know it was 45 earlier up there in Blairsville, but it's mostly 50s out there. Yeah, here's some storms, and boy, these were some nasty storms back in the middle of the country. There was a tornado emergency out there in Oklahoma. Hopefully, I've not seen any indications of deaths yet, but could be some injuries as it moved into a town out there in Oklahoma, and hopefully folks are okay. Now, that kind of weather is going to slide down into Mississippi, maybe parts of Alabama, but we're not expecting it in our area for any of the rain that's coming at us for right now. So right now, no severe risks with this right now. No folks get a little worked up when they hear severe weather. No, we're not expecting that here for this time. All right, so in fact, let's go and take a look at that outlook here. Again, this is your day one outlook for today. This green area, this will be in the morning hours. I think this will be overnight. Going into the morning, we might see some rain, a few thunderstorms. You see the slight risk out here into Arkansas and Mississippi. Here is Alabama right in here with some marginal, but again, nothing in our area here. That's your day one. And then day two for Saturday, all the southeast, just a general thunderstorm threat. We're not expecting any severe weather there for your Saturday and Sunday. We're looking pretty good. You see everything's down to the south. Sunday's actually looking pretty quiet here across North Georgia as we go through the weekend. So some good news in that department. Now, as far as our satellite picture is concerned, looking pretty good. There's those thunderstorms out there in the middle of the country across Missouri back into Oklahoma. We're looking pretty quiet up there. We're still getting a little bit of that southerly wind in here. I did see a kind of a haze smoke advisory kind of issued out there from the National Weather Service. So if you see a little bit of that today, hopefully it won't be too thick and stick around too long. But generally expecting a lot of sunshine across our region here for this afternoon. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our model data here for today. Let's go ahead and talk about that. We're going to first look at the NAM. This is a representation of what the radar will look like. It's called reflectivity. Kind of get an idea of what that's going to look like here for today. You can see these storms up to the north. They're going to settle down into Mississippi and into Tennessee as we go in for tonight. And then you see it come through Georgia, and not all that impressive, folks. Again, rainfall amounts are going to be kind of a little disappointing, but we'll take what we can get at this point as this moves on through. And then the second half of the weekend, Sunday's looking pretty good. You got another complex of storms here to the west, but not coming into North Georgia with that one, so that'll sink into the south. So Sunday's looking pretty good, and Monday's also looking dry. So Sunday and Monday are dry. Next chance of rain after Saturday will be on your Tuesday. That'll probably linger into Wednesday, all right? So that's what we're looking at in those areas. Now, as far as rainfall amounts, again, not overly high, unfortunately, maybe quarter to maybe half inch, but you see where all the heavier rains back here to the west. We're just not going to get that. So kind of a glancing blow, very typical when you got drought set up in here to kind of hold back some of the rain amounts that we definitely need at this point. Now, today's highs are going to be comfortable, very similar to what we've seen all week long. We'll have 80s for most, low relative humidity, pretty good day. And then for tomorrow, obviously with the clouds coming in here and the threat of rain coming in here, should be a milder start here in the morning. It looks like temperatures in around 60 degrees here, maybe a few 50s, but it should be a mild start for tomorrow morning with some clouds and rain around. And as far as your daytime highs are concerned on Saturday, well, it looks like we'll see temperatures cooler, noticeably cooler there. Seeing temperatures mostly there into the 70s here for afternoon highs because of the clouds and rainfall. All right, now let's go look at the jet stream here. Again, this is what drives our forecast. And what we look for here when looking at the jet stream is looking the northern branch, southern town. Are they coming together? Are they coming together to give us any kind of big storm systems? We're not really seeing that. We are seeing some pretty good pushes coming down with the jet kind of coming. You got this cutoff low back here. This is the low pressure here. The jet's been going like this, so we've been seeing what's been really driving this weather. Look at this this split in here. Those thunderstorms are flaring up in there. It's called a diffluence zone when the air's kind of separating like that, and that's why we had the tornado threat, that kind of wind shear. That's the big thing. Changing winds with heights, and that's been a problem. So we're going to be breaking that down here finally as we go into next week, and looks like we're going to get a cool down, especially heading toward the 1st of May. So we got a couple of weeks just coming in on Tuesday. Then as we go toward the end of the month, we're going to have this jet stream here. Here's the kind of pulling down this way. This is what's going to come in the following weekend. It's going to cool us down a little bit. There's a little surge there coming on down. So that's going to bring down the cooler weather going into that weekend. So that'll be kind of falling behind that system right there. And that'll kick on out. And then there's another one that'll follow behind that one. Here's another one right here. Here's another little dip in the jet stream there. So as we head toward the 8th and 9th. So we got a couple of cooler shots coming on down here that'll give us those below normal temperatures as we're expecting going into that first week in May. So that's what we're seeing there. But as far as any big major storm system for severe weather, no, not seeing it. I know we got the anniversary coming up of the 15th anniversary coming up here of the big super outbreak in 2011. But no, we got nothing like that showing here on the horizon. All right, so let's look at the height anomaly. That's where we kind of track where the disturbances are as it relates to high pressure. Remember, high pressure is orange and red. Blue and green is your lower pressures. And what we're seeing here is, again, you see the weakness here through the weekend here a little bit. This breaks down, and then we get this high pressure ridging back in here across the northern portion of the Gulf. We're waiting for that to break down. It does break down toward the end of the week. Here comes this one front that comes on down. So we're breaking this down. See this weakness coming in toward the 1st. So, again, that'll bring another chance of rain toward the end of the week going into next weekend. And then it moves on out. And then there's another little disturbance along the Gulf here going in toward the 6th. So, again, this is a long-range look. And then we got another system coming down here toward the 9th. So a fairly progressive weather pattern. What that means, translation, better opportunities for rain. Looks like we're not going to go an extended period where it's dry. We got some chances of rain in there. Now, the question mark is how much. That's the big question here as we track these systems. All right, so we look at the moisture. This is dew point. We're looking for that green, man. We need a lot of green here across the south. So we can also track when the cold fronts are going to come on through. So we got some green coming in here. Looks like a little bit of a backdoor wedge coming in here with some drier air coming down here toward the 27th briefly. So that temperature may cool down just a little bit on Monday. Then we bring the green back up here going into your Tuesday and Wednesday. So rain chances come back up, and then the front comes on through there. You see the 2nd and 1st comes on through. That's that dry air coming into the following weekend. And then we're waiting for that green to come on back up. There it comes back again, going through the 7th and 8th with that next chance of rain. There's another front. See the next front right there? You clearly see that. That's why I like using the dew point. You can really track those cold fronts. So we're tracking 2 different cold fronts here over the next couple of weeks. All right, so let's take a look at the latest European. This is going from where we left off with the NAM and going in toward Tuesday. So we do have some rain coming on Tuesday. But once again, look at what's happening here. Tuesday, we got it coming into Georgia, and it's falling apart. It just seems to be a recurring theme as we've seen this over and over and over again. This boundary is going to linger into the area. And then we have these rains here going into Wednesday. So Wednesday looks like rain's there. Thursday showing some rains nearby as well. There goes going into Friday and Saturday, some rains there. So despite the fact that initial one's going to be backing off on Tuesday, that boundary is going to stall, which is a good thing. And the little impulses will ride along that boundary, and that'll give us opportunities for rain. So again, some good news in that sense. We got that in there. So clouds, rain, and probably cooler temperatures as we go into May. All right, so let's look at the rainfall totals. This is from going in for this upcoming weekend. So this is very similar to what we saw on the NAM. So we're talking, quarter to half inch totals potentially with this coming on here for this weekend. And then as we go for that week, we got a week's worth where there's a chance of rain just about every day. So going into the following weekend, all right, we're going 1 to 2 inches. All right, again, not drought busting. Again, to bust this drought, we're going to need like 20 inches of rain over a couple of months. And but this is a start if we can continue to see these opportunities for rain continue into May and we don't go back to an extended dry period again. We're getting a little bit of rain down here in South Georgia showing up. This is a little bit better than we were seeing yesterday. So see if they get some better rains down there as well. So some good news there. Let's look at the forecast highs. Again, going into Sunday, temperatures are going to rebound. We'll be back, sunny skies, temperatures back in the 80s again. Sunday's looking pretty good. So if you don't want to do yard work on Saturday, do it on Sunday. Sunday's looking all right. Looking at Monday, again, we got this backdoor cold from Remember, I just said we had that backdoor front coming in here on your Monday. So looks like on Monday, temperatures will be a little bit cooler here as we're going to be dealing with 70s in here because of that northeasterly wind coming in on Monday. So a little bit of a weak wedge there on Monday. Tuesday, all right, let's check out your Tuesday temperatures here. Again, depending on where the rain sets up. At Tuesday might be still fairly mild because it looks like the thing's falling apart going into Tuesday, but Wednesday's rain chances seem to be up a little bit on the European here. So obviously you can see the rain impacts here with 70s and still some 80s, so still fairly warm there. Going into your Thursday, here we go. Thursday, noticeably 70s, some 80s again because rain chances. And that it's going to linger right into Friday, too, for next week, too. So Friday, still looking at 70s, 60s. But look as we track that cold front coming on in. Here it comes on that Sunday. Here's that front right there. Look at this, 40s on this side, 70s on this side. We got a 30-degree swing there going into next weekend. So as we look at your daytime highs here on Saturday, this is going to feel kind of chilly. I mean, 50s, 60s in here. This is going to feel kind of chilly day there with below normal temperatures into the following weekend. And then going into your Sunday morning, we got low 40s up here for your Sunday the following weekend, and then daytime highs here in the 60s. So obviously we're getting a nice little cool shot coming down the following weekend. So enjoy this weekend. This weekend's looking good. But next weekend, maybe not so much. It's going to be cooler out there, but definitely looking nice. We got great opportunities for rain here for this upcoming week. So let's look at the climate outlook here. Kind of wrap this thing up as we're looking at, again, below normal temperatures. Again, this is for basically the 29th through the 3rd of May. So below normal temperatures are on the 6 to 10 day outlook, obviously for rain and everything else there, but it stays in place right through the 1st through the 7th. So we're going to continue that flow coming in here we're going to see some cooler temperatures down here. Again, we're not going to get any frost, folks. This is May, okay? So we're done with that, but it will be unseasonably cool here going into May. And this looks good. We got above normal temperature, precipitation, not temperatures, but showing up here on the 6 to 10 day. And based off what I'm seeing on the European long range, I concur with that. And then it looks like as we head toward the middle of the month, it kind of backs off to more seasonable. So when it's white like that, it means normal. So when we see the tan, that means dry weather. You see the green, it means wet weather. When it's kind of in between, it means just kind of normal in between. So anyway, that's what we're looking like here for today. Again, we're going to be watching closely. Again, we're not expecting any kind of severe weather for us here for this weekend. Again, there's some thunderstorms, healthy storms out there in Arkansas right now. We could use some storms like they're getting out there right now. Those aren't severe, but they're nice, good, heavy rain thunderstorms. That would be something that would be nice to get in our area, but we're not seeing that. And right now, as far as Tuesday and Wednesday is concerned, as far as the rain's coming in, right now, I'm not seeing anything severe with that for the moment. Okay, if that changes, obviously, we'll let you know what's going on in that department. So anyway, hey, we're rolling along. I've really been surprised that a lot of people coming on board with our YouTube postings as they're trying to help our numbers come up there. So we're continuing to grow there on that front. That's some good news there. And I got to head on down to Florida for today. So you guys on the YouTube posting here, you're not going to. This is your all's forecast for today. Just know about that. So, and here is the forecast here for this afternoon. In fact, hold on a second. Let me make sure I grab my update. I did update this today, so let's grab that up, and here we go. So again, as you can see, the high rain chance on Saturday, dry on Sunday and Monday. Rain chances coming up for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but Tuesday, Wednesday look like they're the two best days, although those rain chances may swap. We'll see how that works out as we go into next week. So at least we got chances of rain in the forecast. That's the good news there, and we'll definitely take what we can get. Hopefully we can start beating back this drought a bit, although my gut tells me this thing's going to linger right into summer, unfortunately. All right. That is y'all's weather report here for today. Hope you guys have a great and safe weekend, and we'll see you back in here next week. You guys take it easy. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.